of the blood, let chains be broken. You say that in your word that Jesus Christ was given for the propitiation of our sins, not only ours, but the sins of the whole world. Therefore, Lord, let sin be put to shame, because all these things happen because of sin. For a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and his name shall be called Jesus, for he shall deliver his people from their sins. Thank you, Father, this morning. It is done. In Jesus' name we pray. Let's put our hand for the Lord. We are going to stand up to read the scripture, and we'll sit down and take some hymns. As the servant of God is still praying, at the end, he's going to come. The Lord is revealing things both to you and to us. I just received some testimonies, but I have not had time to listen to them. I've asked Brother Kingsley to listen to those testimonies, to check them, and we can all have it. Amen. But like we said, free your mind. Amen. The Lord is seeing you through, and he will see you through. Oh, Pastor is already here. Amen. Praise the Lord. So, please, Brother Kingsley, yes, listen to that testimony because it's in French with the servant of God in the office where there will be no disturbance before he comes. Amen. Hallelujah. We're going to read Psalm 43. So let's rise to our feet. Take him. Have you listened? Take him to listen to them. Yes. Psalm 43. And Judge Deduro, let us stand to our feet. I want to appeal to those of us that are free, but we are using ideas to run out and come. No. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. Judge me, O God, and plead my cause against an ungodly nation. Oh, deliver me from the deceitful and unjust man. For the act of God of my strength, for thou art my God, thou art the God of my strength. Why dost thou cast me off? Why go I mourning because of the oppression of the enemy? Oh, send out of thy sight and thy truth. Let them lead me. Let them bring me unto thy holy hill and to thy tabernacles. Then will I go into the altar of God, and God, unto God my exceeding joy. Yea, upon the harp will I praise thee, O God, my God. Why art thou cast down, O my soul? And why art thou disquieted within me? Hope in God, for I shall yet praise him, who is the health of my countenance and my God. May the Lord bless the word. You may be seated. Put your hands together for the Lord Jesus. Clap for that word of God. Clap for Jesus Christ. What a friend we have in Jesus. 199. Let me tell you, all these young boys, listen, if you are not praying, you'll be hungry. Yes. And my spirit is following you anywhere. You want to go and urinate, I'm following you. Anybody that I catch among you They are not complete. Where is my poor? Amen. He's where? He's outside there. Okay. Praise the Lord. So, if you don't want to continue another 3 days, you better cooperate. Because that one, we will put Pastor Albert in charge. You people will just be here. They will lock gate. And you will know that heaven is far. Amen. What a friend we have in Jesus. All our sins and grief to bear. What a privilege to carry everything to God in prayers. All right. Trials and temptation. Is there trouble anywhere? We should never be discouraged. Jesus knows. Jesus knows our every need. Take it to the hour of prayer. Take it to the Lord in prayer. Before we gossip, before we complain, before we tell anybody, tell Jesus first. And when you tell Jesus, there's no need to tell another person. Hallelujah. Are we weak and heavy laden? Let's sing. But with a load of fear, precious Savior, still our refuge. Precious Savior, still our refuge. Take it. talk to the Lord. Say, Lord, hear my prayer. Hear the prayer of my family. I bring the prayer of my family. I bring the prayer of my friend up under my prayer because I know you hear me. Lord, I thank you because you hear me. I thank you because my faith has been anointed. I thank you because my sins have been forgiven. I thank you because I have received favor from you to come boldly, for you hear me. I bring my prayers to you. Lord, Lord, hear me. Lord, hear me. Thank you, Father. Thank you, Father. Thank you, Father. Every dryness in my hands, that spirit that caused dryness in my hands, that say that I cannot prosper, every spirit that is pulling me, whatever is pulling me downward, Lord, this morning I take it to you in prayer. I cut it off, expose it. As the servant of God is going to come, every demon of dryness, I command, let it be broken in the name of Jesus Christ. In the name of Jesus Christ. Every dryness in my hands, I want you to tap that hand as you are praying. I want you to rub that hand and tap it. Your hands, every dryness in my hands, tap that hands, tap that hands, tap that hands, tap that hands. Lord, how can I be your child? And it's taking me too long to achieve one thing. Tap that hands, tap that hands, tap that hands. Every dryness, I come against it. Every dryness, I come against it. I come against it in the name of Jesus. Father, I beat out every demon of dryness from my palms, from my hands, in the name of Jesus. I refuse. I reject dryness. Tap their hands to the Lord. Tap their hands to the Lord. Let dryness, I blind, I deafen in the name of Jesus. I come against dryness. I come against poverty. I come against poverty in the name of Jesus. I come against lack. Come out from my hands in the name of Jesus. In the name of Jesus. Thank you, Father. Thank you, Father. Oh, Jesus. Oh, King of glory. I come against dryness. Leave my life alone. Dryness, leave my life alone. I want you to pray. Dryness, come out. Come out. Come out. Holy Ghost divine. Holy Ghost divine. Holy Ghost divine. Lord say, ask, and it shall be, you shall receive. I receive. I receive. I receive. I receive. How he loves. In Jesus' name we pray. One there is above all others. Oh, how he loves. Listen to what Scripture says. The Scripture says here, it says, he that could not withhold from giving us his Son, how can he not freely give us all things. Listen, don't think that God don't know what all things are. We are helping God to understand language. And yet, he is the master, the father, the owner of languages. When I see a good thing, I'll talk about it. You know, Pastor Billy was telling me the other time, he said one time somebody met Bishop Idaosa and said to him, "Oh, I just want to tell you that I just got a house." Pastor Billy said, "You disappoint me. I thought you were coming to tell me that you have gotten an estate." Then the man said, "I didn't even have a house. I got a house." He said, "When I got an estate." He said, don't relax because you've gotten a house. Because the thing that is pursuing you has not stopped. Can take the house from you. When Jabez said, "Lord, enlarge my coast," he wanted to live in such a place that before the enemy will come, he will see them. Not that because the enemy jumped from one house to your house. Satan come and have fence with you. And you say that you have space. You don't have space. A minister came to my house one time. And as he was praying, he said, "Lord, keep Satan far away from us." And I picked that. Keep him far. There is only one Satan. But he has many spirits. Many outlets. They have the fruit of the spirit is love. Now when that tree love grows, you see joy. You see peace. Now the same thing with Satan. Amen. Cut that branch of lack and poverty away from you. Cannot go back with it. That's why the Lord, it started with me when I was in school. One day, I came home and I came to take project money. My father didn't have all the money, so he just gave me a portion of it. Then I said, okay, because when I was in the barracks there, I was a different boy because of my father's training. Amen. I can't eat a biscuit if my father didn't see it. If my father was not around, my mother should see it and should permit me to eat the biscuit. That's why when I started the church in the barracks, people came and said, "No, if this one start church, let us go there because we saw him, how he lived here." Praise the Lord. You have to have a testimony. Not that you just, as a young person, you think that this is your time. Your parents send you to school with hard-earned money. You now come to school. You say, you university, now you be this? I don't come. Don't do that. You're the child of who you are. So, by Saturdays, there were no washing machines those days. Saturdays, I'll have to wake up early, wash all my siblings' clothing and my parents' clothes. I did the washing myself. All of these ones you see, these ones that people have come to marry now, they are carrying their body, they are getting big. I wash their clothes. You don't know them. Yeah, you don't know them. All this Mama Hausa boy, Mama Aloji, Mama Moses. I wash their clothes. I took care of them. When I wash on Saturday, by evening, I will iron the ones that they will wear to church. I cannot fail. My father, you cannot dress anyhow and pass his front. Are you from the moon? The man does not waste time. He talks with his hand. In this my life, anybody that I want to slap me is in trouble because I've received all the slap I needed to receive. Praise the Lord. Then, when I finish at 9, He would tell me, go to that officer's house. He doesn't have any help. Go and help him. So I was a houseboy. And I would go there and knock at the door. Tap, tap, tap. Say, yes, who is that? Say, good morning, sir. Or let it be that my father heard that you passed somebody you didn't greet. He knew I love football. He would say, come on, let me show you something. Take the football. He said, put it on your leg like this. He said, hold it like that. And that's how I will be. So, I will knock at the door. Say, good morning, sir. Introduce myself. Introduce who my father is. So that they ask me to get your dirty clothes. I will take these clothes, count them, wash them, dry them. I watch them to dry. And then iron them and take back there. If he gives you something and you collect, you are in trouble. You are in trouble. You must not take anything. Praise the Lord. Then, afterwards, it became a routine. Maybe I had like 2-3 people I was helping like that. I have to take their clothes, write their names separately, and wash them. Then, we had other young men in the house. You ask them to iron. They iron, they return. Some will not get ready by that Saturday. You will get ready on Sunday. Some will say, oh, let even Monday. Because they had nowhere to go. They will just give it to their class. We wash them. Then, I have to be quick because 4 o'clock is football. I don't miss. So when I tell my father that it is time, I have done my part, you to do your part, he will say, go. Amen. So that period, I came for that project money, and my father didn't have much. He just gave me what he had. He said, go, I will send you the money. So I just said, okay, now I'm in the university. Let me go and greet those that I've been washing for them when I was in. I just went. I didn't tell him. I just went and knocked their door. He said, where have you been? I said, I've been in school. I'm writing project now. He said, hey, is that so? Come. Hope you did not go to your father to collect money. I have never reached my father's place. He said, okay, yes. Don't disturb that man. Don't disturb him. Anything you want, you ask us. He just went inside and gave me 7,000 naira that time. And that was big money. I collected the money, I put it in my pocket. And I already planned that my father will not see this money. That this one, I will just go from here. As I want to pass another road, I pass into trouble. As I just enter, I saw a woman crying. They used to call that woman Mama Boy. She was crying. I said, Mommy, why are you crying? Hey, my daughter, she cannot breathe. See, in General Hospital, they say they need 7,000. The first thing that came out of my mouth was, why would they need 7,000? Of all the money in this world. Why? I said, they needed to do what? Please, my son, leave me. God help me. Oh, where will I see 7,000? Oh, she's walking away from me. And I go and ask, I say, how are we going to do now? My son, leave me, don't worry. Oh, God, oh. I stood there and said, hey, and I know, but why did I pass this road? This is really temptation. And my legs could not move. Say, what is project? Even because we had friends that time in the school when we reached, we used to drink small beer. Yes. We have calculated the money. Even sometimes our school fees money will go, my father had, and he came surprisingly one day and caught us. I said, okay, from there, no more. So I don't say no. Mama boy, please come. Sorry, man. This is the money. Just take it and go. Hey, she just counted the money. You know, that time we don't have 1,000. Hey, God will bless you. You will never be poor in this life. You will never have sickness in this life. As she's talking, she's running to General Hospital. Me, I started crying. 7,000, all that money. Then I now went to tell my father that uncle gave me 7,000. Where's the money? I gave it because my father kept quiet. He said, you gave it? He said, kneel down, let me pray for you. And he prayed for me. Stood up. The money he said he didn't have, he went and gave me more money. But you see, I never lacked in school. One thing is this. In this life, I'm still saying it. One time I used to ask church, I say, how many of you here have somebody called you and just gave you 1 million naira? If they have not given you, go and cry to God. Somebody, and you take that position, somebody's going to take another one. Somebody will call you and say, listen, I want to do something with you. I want to invest 100 million in your life. There's a prophecy about this church from late Pastor Ben. I was finished preaching in Ibadan, very tough message on the 4 watches. And the prophecy came. And he said, my son, nice. The reason why you look as if everywhere is tight is because I want pureness. I don't want pretenders around. Say, but that church you see in Lagos, people will come to you. When they finish ministering, the church will give them cars. I don't find it as a big thing. Because I believe that 5 tickets we buy for 500,000 naira, 300,000, 5 tickets buy 1 car. Is that not so? That's true. So if we can be giving people tickets, but I don't want you to limit, don't let it pass this podium. It's not, let this podium rest. You do it. Believe it. Key into God. Key into that thing. Solomon brought his inheritance from David and offered everything. And God told him that you are not the one to pray. I'm the one now. Dryness is off your life. Just believe it. In the name of Jesus Christ. Let's sing this song. How He Loves. 278. One there is above all others. Oh my. If you can't see the board from where you are, use a hymn. If you don't have a hymn, indicate. I can give you one here after you return it. But this hymn is not costly, it's just 1,000 naira. Some people, 1,005 or 2,000. Yes. Even though it's 3,000, it's not cost. Amen. One there is above all others. I want everyone to sing. One there is above all others. Oh, how He loves. Let's not sleep. He says love beyond the brother's brother. Oh, how He loves. Earthly friends may fail or leave us. One day soon, they next day grieve us. forgiving. Oh, how we love. Backward shall our foes be driven. Hey. Oh, how we love. Best of blessings. Best of blessings. King provide us. Lord shall guide us. Safe to glory will guide us. See me through, Lord Jesus, see me through. See me through, Lord Jesus, see me through. There is a race I must run. It's a race I every hour. Sing it, Tinibo. Jiggy them, Jesus, jiggy To pray for a brother called Brother Luke, who is helping us to coordinate our brothers, believers in England. I want us to ask the Lord to anoint him afresh. That the Spirit of God will overtake him. Just quickly to talk to the Lord as we bow down. The flock of God will not scatter. Mercy, mercy, mercy. Grace, grace, grace. Power, power, power. Wisdom. Wisdom upon Brother Luke to know how to go in and out. Talk to the Lord. Talk to the Lord. Talk to the Lord. There's power in the blood of Jesus. May the blood overshadow the life of Brother Luke. Let the Holy Ghost, the teacher, be seated in his life. Pray for Brother Luke. Brother Luke, in the name of Jesus, receive the anointing. Receive the power. Receive the wisdom. Whoever you shall lay hands on shall be healed. Receive the gifts. Let fear get away from your life. Let the honor of God come upon you. Talk to the Lord. Oh, Father. Thank you, Lord Jesus. Talk to Brother Luke. This is my daily bread. So shall it be. So shall it be. This is my in the name of Jesus Christ. We are praying. Want to pray for Brother Asogwa? Want to pray for Brother Asogwa, Ikechukwu Asogwa, our brother, our elder? Want to tell the Lord that place of honor that the Lord has kept him spiritually, and the forces are trying to pull his leg down. Those internal forces, those unfriendly friends, those ones that are biting and blowing breeze, tell the Lord, let the wings of your son, let the eagle wings of your son be active. May he fly to the rock where they cannot come near him. Pray in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Pray for your brother, because as you are praying for somebody, you are praying for yourself. Fight this battle right now. In the name of Jesus. In the name of Jesus. We come against every secret battle that is not appearing. Somebody having headache and not feeling pain, we come against it. Talk to the Lord. Talk to the Lord. Talk to the Lord. Whatever is hiding his finances, is hiding his prosperity, is hiding his peace, I command in the name of Jesus, break it, Lord, this hour. Break it! Whatever that spirit is, wherever it comes from, in the name of Jesus. Let the legs of your son be free. 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 In the name of Jesus. In the name of Jesus. Be loose from him. Be loose from him. Be loose from him. Somebody break the spirit. Break the spirit. Break the spirit. There is deliverance this morning. There is deliverance this morning. There is deliverance this morning. Rise up, rise up, rise up. Tap your feet on the ground. Tap your feet on the ground. Move around, move around. the Lord deliver one, he deliver all. Pray also for yourself now. If something is tying me and I don't know, Lord, I lose myself. As you are losing my brother, Lord, lose me too. Stand up and walk around. Stand up and walk around. Whatever is tying my legs, I'm not seeing. Lord, today, there is. Break every chain. 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 Oh, break every chain. Break every chain. Break every chain. Break every chain. In your life, in your family, in your marriage, in your business, in your finances, chains are broken. Chains are broken. Chains are broken. Chains are broken. In your ministry, chains are broken. Yes, yes, yes. Chains are broken. Thank you, Lord. Break every chain. Break every chain. Break every chain. To break every chain. To break every chain. Break it, break it, break it. Break every chain. Break every chain. Break every chain. In Jesus' name. Want to pray? Let's get in an atmosphere before the servant of God comes. Now, just very low, listen to me. A sister was having an interview. She said, "Oh, Pastor, I have an interview. And it's on this day." As I was sleeping, the Lord took me to the area where she lives. I saw something. And I heard the voice saying to me, "Allow this pass. I want to use it to show you something." Allow what pass? I don't understand. Then the sister called me the morning of that interview. Said, "I had a dream." I said, "What's that dream?" He said that she saw a dog in that dream in the corridor of their house. And just like that house happened to be a family house. I said, "I'll talk to you later. Go for the interview." She went for the interview. When she got there, she was confused. Amen. She was what? Confused. They wrote the exams. She could not make well. And right there, they told her that the other person passed better than she did. So she had to come back. She was so disappointed. And I told her, "Calm down." Amen. What? Calm down. That was not your place. I said, "Something better." I said, "If I didn't pass, how can something better come?" I said, "Don't worry." Not quite 1 month. Not even up to 1 month. Surprisingly, they called her for another interview in a bigger place. Very big place. And I told her, "Be quiet. Don't talk about it there." We prayed. Amen. She went for the interview. She wrote She passed. And I'm out of many of them. They called 3 of them back again for another interview in a few days. She went, she passed. Then she kept asking me, what was the meaning of that dream? There's a witch. But if I tell her, she will know the person. And I don't think she's mature enough to handle that. Because I know she has some problems. I say, calm down. I'm not saying God should kill them. No. But they will rub their sheet and beat themselves. And yes. Sometimes it's because there's somebody that you want to help. Not because of you. Because you want to help somebody. Your heart, God, I want to help somebody. Attack comes. Amen. Hear what I'm saying. Any hand that join with hand to remove a chair under you, to remove a table from you, to remove plates from you, to remove food from you, to cause you not to be in the place, let that hand wither. And the Lord will show you a sign. Except the person run quickly and confess. This week, or either by phone, this week. If he reached Saturday night and he didn't confess, finish. That hand will wither. Ye shall be like the tree planted by the waterside. Someone say, Lord, I'm a palm tree. I'm a palm tree. I'm a fruitful vine. Tell the Lord, I overtake, I recover everything I have lost. Lord, I know you have blessed me. Wherever those blessings are hidden, I overtake them. I recover them in the name of Jesus Christ. Lord, are you not the one? Say with me. Are you not the one that helped David to pursue, to overtake, and recover? From Sunday, I have been pursuing. Today, I overtake. I recover. I'm going to begin my journey to bring them back. Nothing shall be difficult before me. I am the Joshua of the New Testament. I am the Joshua of the New Testament. I overtake. I conquer. I recover. In the name of Jesus. Amen. If you believe, say amen. Sit down and meditate upon it a few minutes. Sit down and meditate upon it a few minutes. Who has this prayer request? Who is Oluwaseun? Okay, sit down, sister. The Lord bless you. It's a terrible situation. And that prayer also is for you now. Where is he? So he's a medical doctor. 10 years ago, he lost his certificate by thieves. They carried away his box. Since then, he has been going to collect the duplicate of the result. But to this time, he cannot get any government work. And I've been trying to, he has tried and tried his work with any hospital. Amen. You see what I'm talking about? God bless you, Brother Ugo. The Lord bless you. I was listening, following the prayers from Mr. I say, don't think that you are not barren. Because that you have everything and you lack one thing, something is a problem. That's not what God promised you. All the thing that God is doing is that it should not enter into your head that you are problems. Somebody will suffer and train a child to be a doctor, and it's not going to benefit. The child cannot benefit. I had 2 of that kind of prayer point now. This is the second one, medical doctors. The other one, the young boy studied overseas, I think in Russia. When he came back, they frustrated him and refused to accept his certificate. And they asked him to go and rewrite some exams. You know, Nigerians we boast for what we don't have. Your certificate and that of Russia, which is better? Praise the Lord. Is jealousy. And as we are remembering, we are going to join these 2 prayer points together. Amen. Forget about certificate. Forget about accreditation. We want to release these 2 doctors that I've heard of now. The other one is a pastor's son in Osun State. I don't know him. I don't know the son, but somebody just told me, and the thing touched me. Amen. That pastor's son in this faith, the man had labored and struggled. He said one of the best schools. He trained the son, hard currency. Coming back, they want to frustrate him. And now, Oluwasegun Arayo is also being frustrated. That thief, what is he going to do with in India or in Egypt, when I was attacked and even stabbed, they took away my passport, phone, camera, with about $1,600 I was carrying on me. Because for me, I don't keep my money in a hotel. I go with it everywhere I go. I don't trust any hotel. So they attacked me and took the money, took the laptop. The God that caused somebody to call and say, I'm confused, I can't use this laptop. You have heard that story. That email is still alive there. The case file, I demanded from the court. They said they don't give up, but they gave to me. Fire consumed it when fire burnt my house here this time. I kept it as a testimony that God has done great things in my life. I should not be afraid of anything. Listen, in the name of Jesus, somebody, if you are going to use this move as a point of contact, if your thing has been lost, If your contact, your business, your source of finance has been lost, your source of food has been lost, speak to the Lord. Call his name this hour. We pursue the certificate and the deliverance of Olusegun and the other pastor's son will recover. They must function in Jesus' name we pray. In the mighty name of Jesus we pray. I call back where the destiny of Olusegun and the other doctor and any other person is tied. I call it back. I break the chains. You are free in Jesus' name. Put your hands together if you believe. Hallelujah. The Lord bless you. How many days are
and was cleaning the base of the altar. All the sand, they are packing it with brush, with packer. And they gather the refuse here. They carry it and go the other side. And there were two young ladies also there, clearing the base of the environment. They carried the refuse from here and gave it to them. He was on the ground, packed it, and brought it out. As I was washing, I had a wind coming from this side with some voices entering and landing on the altar. And the voice says, him the Lord, the God of hosts. He is coming to fellowship with his people, with his host this day. He is coming to fight our battles. And to give us peace and settlement. That we have provoked him to visit us with his host. That the Lord is with his host in our midst. And I heard the message. But he said I should not keep it. It's not for me. The vision is not for me. It's for his people. That I should tell his people he is here this day to do great things in our midst. Says the word of the Lord.
Heavenly Father, your word states that when the temple was clean, you came in and healed the sick and cleansed the lepers and did wondrous work. As you purge us, let your hand manifest all that you have desired upon us. We receive it, we become it, in Jesus' name. Bless your servants. In Jesus' name we pray. Shalom. Son. Which means it's attached to you. Amen. So shall it be. Amen. Amen. Glory be to his name. Father, we receive this word in the name of Jesus Christ. Every thief that has been attached to her life to take away whenever it is added. Today, Lord, you have blocked that thief. You have cut off the hands. Lord, your daughter is recovering all. Her life will change. Her position will change. In Jesus' name I pray. God bless you. Amen. As another confirmation, we've been having these prayer points from different places and visions. As people are coming. Amen. Thank you, Lord. When one is delivered, the enemy will now say, yes, let's kill. Let's put our hands for the Lord Jesus for us. Amen. Hallelujah. Let me quickly read this testimony from Sister Laila Sakraji. And I want you, how many days have we been here now? Okay. Today will be our 6th day. This morning, immediately Pastor Elom woke up. He said, what about the sister in Morocco? Immediately he said, I just on my phone to check. I saw that she has downloaded testimonies. Now listen to this testimony. It was not written in English. It was sent in French. That's why I asked 3 of them. The real French person, the second French person, and the fake one. I didn't say anything, you know. To go and hear and come. Praise the Lord. Amen. We have French people in this church. The number 1 original French person in this church is Sister. No. She's originaire. How do they say original in French? Originaire, eh? Yes. So, all those Togolese, Ghana French of Brother Kingsley, and Guinea Conakry French that he's speaking. Encourage me. Praise the Lord. I feel happy. I feel joyous. I know that the Lord, they don't sweep outside to enter inside. They sweep inside to go outside. Is that also? Watch out. You don't know. Testimony from Sister Laila Sakraji. I got to my daughter's house and I discovered that my daughter has been very aggressive even to our own children. I decided to start a fasting and prayer because I knew it's only God that can help my daughter out of such condition. And within the 5th day of my fasting and prayers, my daughter started coming back home very late at midnight. She wanted me to leave her house. You know, it's not her. It's the demon. Believe this thing. It's the demon. The demon don't like prayer and fasting. I know. That's why when there's truth, when a Christian is praying and fasting, a demon will not. Now he says, she wanted me to leave her house. While I made up my mind to leave the house, my daughter came to me that she got a question to ask me. That is, to ask her mother. And while I gave the audience to speak to me, my daughter asked me, Mommy, why is it that people can get into some problems that they cannot understand? Until you see now. And my daughter also said, yes, we are Muslims. She's still calling the mother Muslim. But we believe in Jesus Christ as a prophet of God. Then I have to seize the opportunity to preach Christ of the Bible to my daughter. You know understand, you know clear you. Amen. Now listen to what he says there. She says, to preach the Christ of Jesus Christ to preach Christ of the Bible to my daughter, and why Christ came to save us from our sins, and how he was glorified and became the Lord God Almighty revealed in human flesh. I made my daughter to understand that Jesus is not just a prophet of God, as they were taught in the Islamic religion. Rather, he is God and the only way by which any man can be saved. My daughter has been out of work for a very long time, which I think may also be what is giving her unrest mind and made her to be too aggressive. Carry the man out. Amen. While we were talking, my daughter was called up for a job while I was still in her house preaching Christ to her. And by the grace of God, my daughter has realized that my coming to her house was a great blessing, an open opportunity for her. She is now very happy and even unwilling for me to leave her house. I'm still in her house till now, and she's now walking. Glory be to the name of the Lord. My request, I want the believers to pray for my daughter to accept the Lord Jesus Christ as she's beginning to see the wonders of the Lord Jesus Christ. Let's wave this testimony to the Lord. Wave your hands to the Lord. Heavenly Father, you that have begun a good work, perfect it, Lord. Perfect it, Lord. You spirit of aggression, I cast you out. Lord Jesus Christ. Yes, sir. I will sing this song and give signal. The servant of God is ready. Don't be tired. Ezekiah cried one day, say, Prophet, where are you? He said, what happened? He said, the children of Israel, the daughter of Israel have come to bear, but there is no strength. Somebody carried pregnancy for 9 months, and one day is the day of delivery. They say, you know, if you're born. He said, there is no strength. I curse that spirit in Jesus' name. Amen. Praise the Lord. Where are the young men? All our future leaders, where are they? Amen. Where's your younger brother? If they are going to toilet, where did they get the shit to shit? We have to know. Amen. Okay, he's there. The toilet is coming from. Okay, it's Are you so humble like this? I didn't know. Where is Bakpo? Go and look for him. And go and encourage him. Make sure it's not coming from the toilet. Oh. Praise the Lord. The Lord will help us. In the name of Jesus Christ. I like to sing this song. After we sing it 3 times, the pastor will come. I will never be the same again. I will never return. I've closed the door. I will walk the path. I will run the race, and I will never be the same. I will never be the same. I will never be the same again. I will never return. I've shot the door. I will run the path. I will run the race, and I will never be the same again. And I will never be the same again. I will never, one more time. I will never be the same again.
Amen. God bless you. I want to remember something with the testimony of the sister. She was saying when she was in the house fasting, the daughter, she knew that the mother or her mother was not eating. But she can see that the mother rather has more strength than her. Amen. And she was asking, why is it that you are eating? You are not eating. I am eating, but you are stronger than me. And she was telling her that it is not her force or her strength, but the Lord's. Amen. And she was saying that tomorrow she will leave her daughter. She has bought the ticket already. So she asked you should be remembering them in prayers. Amen. Okay, we are going to read today in 2 Chronicles, chapter 20. Are you tired already? Amen. If you are not tired, then give a clap to the Lord. Amen. Really, you will be tired, but your soul will be strong. That one is sure. Amen. Please, you are going to read it for me in English, but we are going to read it slowly and louder so that all of us should hear it very well. 2 Chronicles 20, from 1 to 17.
2 Chronicles chapter 20, from verse 1. And it came to pass, after this also, that the children of Moab and the children of Ammon, and with them other beside the Ammonites, came against Jehoshaphat to battle. Then there came some that told Jehoshaphat, saying, There cometh a great multitude against thee from beyond the sea, on this side Syria. And behold, they be in Azazon Tamar, which is Engedi. And Jehoshaphat feared, and set himself to seek the Lord, and proclaimed a fast throughout all Judah. And Judah gathered themselves together to ask help of the Lord, even out of all the cities of Judah. They came to seek the Lord. And Jehoshaphat stood in the congregation of Judah and Jerusalem, in the house of the Lord, before the new court, and said, O Lord God, our fathers, art not thou God in heaven, and rulest not thou over all the kingdoms of the heathen? And in thy hand is there not power and might, so that none is able to withstand thee? Art not thou our God, who didst drive out the inhabitants of this land before thy people Israel, and gavest it to the seed of Abraham thy friend forever? And they dwell therein, and have built thee a sanctuary therein for thy name, saying, If when evil cometh upon us, as the sword, judgment, or pestilence, or famine, we stand before this house, and in thy presence, for thy name is in this house, and cry unto thee in our affliction, then thou wilt hear and help. And now, behold, the children of Ammon and Moab and Mount Seir, whom thou wouldest not let Israel invade, when they came out of the land of Egypt, but they turned from them and destroyed them not. Behold, I say, how they reward us, to come to cast us out of thy possession, which thou hast given us to inherit. O God, O our God, wilt thou not judge them? For we have no might against this great company that cometh against us. Neither know we what to do, but our eyes are upon thee. And all Judah stood before the Lord with their little ones, their wives, and their children. Then upon Jahaziel, the son of Zechariah, the son of Benaiah, the son of Jeiel, the son of Mattaniah, a Levite of the sons of Asaph, came the Spirit of the Lord in the midst of the congregation. And he said, Hearken ye, all Judah, and ye inhabitants of Jerusalem, and thou King Jehoshaphat, thus says the Lord unto you, Be not afraid, nor dismayed, by reason of this great multitude, for the battle is not yours, but God's. Tomorrow go ye down against them. Behold, they come up by the cliff of Ziz, and ye shall find them, and at the end of the brook, before the wilderness of Jeruel. Ye shall not need to fight this battle. Set yourselves, stand ye still, and see the salvation of the Lord with you. O Judah and Jerusalem, fear not, nor be dismayed. Tomorrow go out against them, for the Lord will be with you. And Jehoshaphat bowed his head with his face to the ground. And all Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem fell before the Lord, worshiping the Lord.
Amen. God bless you. Amen. He was saying, you shall not need to fight in this battle. Set yourselves, stand ye still, and see the salvation of the Lord with you. O Judah and Jerusalem, fear not, nor be dismayed. Tomorrow go out against them, for the Lord will be with you. Amen. I think all of us, we understood, or we have understood, we understood what we have read. Amen. We were here since yesterday, and I said it on Sunday. We loaded food so that it can take us over. But by now, all the foods are gone. It remains you alone. And that's what the Lord wants to you. Amen. They say some people, they came and they want to fight with the God's children. And when the king, they reported the news to the king, he prayed and they organized fasting. Even the children. They say, oh God, are you going to abandon us here? They are coming to kill us. Please. We know that in your house, your name is in your house. We know that in this house, you answer prayers. Amen. When they were fasting and praying, they said, the Spirit of the Lord came on someone. And he started saying, thus saith the Lord, be not afraid nor dismayed by reason of this great multitude. For the battle is not yours, but God's. Can someone say amen? Amen? The reason why you are here, the Lord is saying that the battle is not yours. If it is you, you cannot do anything. God say, you just come and sit down so that you should have testimony. come and sit down and see how the Lord is going to fight for you. Amen. The battle, what you are passing through, the reason why you are here, is not your battle. You are not the one who is going to fight, but the Lord He Himself is going to fight for you. The Word of God, if we are reading it and you are not receiving it, it will not work for you. You have to know that they are talking about you. God is, they are not now, we are not now talking about Josephat and so on. No. They are talking about you now. Something that make that you are afraid. And you are praying, oh God, please help me. And God sent His Spirit on someone. Because He said it yesterday, that after all this, He is going to pour His Spirit on all flesh. You will have vision, you will have dreams, you will have prophecy, and so on. And someone heard the voice of God, and he gave the message to the people, to the children of God. He said, don't worry, be not afraid. God Himself is going to fight for you. Amen. I know that now we are hungry, we cannot say amen again. Or if we say amen, we will die. Okay. Amen. You see, yesterday we have read it. They said, they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. If you can wait, you can remain there, you can stay there, be praying and fasting, your strength that you have lost will come back to you. If we are eating rice and so on every day, we think that we are well. No! Our inside man is hungry. And we need to feed him now. When we are feeding him, the outside man will become weak. That is how it works. When you are fasting, my father told me, one day we started fasting for 10 days. That from 7 days going to the 10 days, even if cockroach and so on are shouting, birds are shouting, he doesn't hear their noise the way we hear them naturally. But he will be hearing glory, praise the Lord, glory. So when the birds are shouting, he has been hearing how they are praising the Lord. You see? Because those animals and so on, they used to pray God, to praise God. But the way we are like this, you cannot hear it. But if the Lord open your spiritual ears, you will hear that they are not just making noise, but they are praising God. Because the Bible says, look at the trees, look at the birds. They don't lack food. Is it lack food? Even if rain is not falling, God makes sure that He has been changing the fruit for them. I don't know how to say it. Amen. If this season, this tree is giving his fruits, then another tree is waiting. If this one finish, then the other one will start. If this one stop, the other one will start. Or to give the birds food all the days of the years. And God said, see, look at those birds. What am I going to use those birds for? See how I make shine the flowers and so on. But I'm not going to use flowers and so on for something. They will dry one day and they will throw them into fire. But you that can worship me, you that can pray, if I will bless someone, are you not the one I will bless more? I'm saying it in my English. I know you understand me. Amen. I said these 3 days that we are staying here. No, you too, you testify. Because I know that I will testify. Tomorrow, you become more weak than today. But don't worry. God is working. Don't fear anything. Nothing. We are here together. If someone faints, we will help him. Amen. This battle is not yours, but is God's. Those who are gathering, they are saying that they are coming to fight you. God said, you don't worry. I will show them what I will do right now. That they are coming against you. And you are aware of it. Don't worry. You just come and sit down. To look. Because you will go and give testimony to someone. Let them come. The battle is not yours. If it is you, you cannot do anything. See, you are fighting with devil, you are not seeing it. You don't see devil. But they are the one we are fasting against. But see, you want to fight with someone, you don't see the person, but the person see you. You and that person, who is going to win? Normally, it's the one that is able to see you, and you don't see him. Normally, he is the one who is supposed to win you. Is it not like that? But as we are standing here, we can't see spirits with our eyes. But if we start the fight, the battle, they just run away. Why? Because the one that is in us here is bigger than him. You want to fight with someone, you are not able to see the person, but the person can see you. Can you beat that person? No. But because you are not the one who is doing the battle. If like you were the one, the devil will beat you correctly. Because you can't see him, but he can see you. That let us know that the battle, we are not the one that are fighting. God is fasting for our cause. Or God is fighting for you and I. Amen. You see, the Lord has started speaking, giving answers. We are not just joking here. You see, this morning we are tired. But it's not a joke. Amen. In this situation, in this your strength, if you say, let fire come, the fire will come. I remember they invited me somewhere. We didn't fast there, we only 3 days of prayers and so on. And I said, now we are going to pray and invite the pillar of fire to come inside, and all the spirits that cannot support the Holy Spirit should go out. When we started praying, come and see the way people are jumping, that the fire is burning them. Why is it that the fire will burn you when we are praying? Because you are carrying a bad spirit. You are having in you a bad spirit. So when they are praying for fire, the fire will disturb you. Amen. Nobody is your enemy here. The one that is our common enemy is the devil. If the devil enters your life, you will do things that you are not supposed to do. And people will be blaming you, they will jail you. No. Let's help that person so that that bad spirit should come out. You see, that person will be now fine. Brother Branham said that it's like a tree that they have uprooted the tree from the riverside and they went and planted it in the wilderness where there is no water. He said that tree will start pushing tons. Is it tons? A pin. There's a pin. If you approach that tree now, it will hurt you. It's tons. Yes. But when that tree was by the riverside, it was not having any thorn. And he said, let's bring back that tree from there to the riverside again. The thorns will disappear. Amen. Please don't be tired. If you are tired, and what about me that I'm speaking here? Let's say amen. Amen. God is going to hear our prayer. Amen. That is how things work, or things work. You think that you are not doing anything. But the door is opening for you. Amen. I told you that man who used his money for juju people, not his money, the money of the bank. He went, I told you already, I will not go again back. I will not go back again. And now, what will be the solution? Either he will die or he will go to prison. There's nothing that can pay, or who can pay this money for him? Who? Billions of naira. But God said, the battle is not yours, but the battle is for me. Even if we say we are going to join together to pay that money, we cannot pay it. But when they fasted and they prayed, God answered their prayer. And instead of jailing that man, they didn't jail him anymore. He obtained promotion upon all that he has done. Because it is not a man that is doing the work, it's God, he himself, that is doing the work. Amen. You think that, oh, what I'm passing through, oh, it's too hard. Oh, I'm suffering. Oh, God is going to answer you from now going. Yes. Because he said, yesterday he said that all that the worms has eaten in your life, that he is going to restore it to you. Your joy that is taken away. Your peace, your blessings, the work that you are doing that has run far from you. God is saying that he will restore it to you. What you are going to do is to say, amen, I believe it. And you wait and see what is going to happen. Amen. Our God is still alive. Our God is still working. He is still answering people's or his children's prayer. Amen. In these 3 days, before Thursday morning, I want to testify. Lord, I want to testify. Because I cannot just fold my hands there and people will be testifying and I will be there. No, I have to give also my testimony. And before that one will happen, it's not by eating food every day, you will sleep from 6 to 6. No. How will I say it? Tu vas te maltraiter un peu. Amen. Is the same thing? No. Maltraiter, c'est-à-dire que tu vas te faire un peu du mal, quoi. C'est comme tu te fais un peu du mal. Yes. How you are going to say that you are not going to eat? Why? Why are you hating food? It's not that you are hating food, but you are waiting for the Lord to answer your prayer. And this is how you are going to proceed. And God knows that you are waiting for him. He said, they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. Not waiting by eating every day, no. You are waiting, you will not be. You see, even the trees that we see, they fast also. You will see, from November to December, you see that all the leaves from the trees, they will fall down. And the trees stay alone. Whether she is closer to a river or not, a season will come and all the leaves will go down. And you think, oh, this tree has that. No. It is fasting. And look, before it will start the fasting, you see that the leaves got old. They don't shine anymore. But wait, when he removed all the leaves and new leaves are coming out, they will be shining. You have to know God from the nature before knowing him from the Bible. You see eagle. Because the Bible says, they shall mount up with wings as eagles. Why are they comparing you to eagle? Because eagle, if it gets old, It cannot fly because it is the bird that can fly, can go higher than all the other birds. But when it is old, it cannot fly higher again. But the Bible is saying that you are going to mount up with wings as eagle. What do the Bible want to say there? See, if he grow older, what does he do? Eagle will go and look for a place that snake cannot go. A place that is higher, the highest place on the mountain. Eagle will go there because he's not now able to fly, to go far. He will go to that far place on the mountains. What is he going to do there? He is going to start fasting. See how it will do it. It will stay there. Those, is it feather? Okay. As its feathers are old, some are scattered, some are torn, it will not help it to go far in the air. He will start fasting. And then see what will happen. All its feathers will fall down. And it will remain the animals alone without feather. Only the flesh, naked. But he makes sure that the place it has chosen, any other animal will come there to attack because it will become weak. So it will make sure that where he is standing, any other animal will come there. And he will start fasting. As he starts fasting, then the feathers, they themselves are removing automatically. And then 1 week, 2 weeks, you will see only the flesh. Without feather. Rain is falling, it is there. Sun is shining, it is there. Wind is blowing, it is there. That is why. Okay, see. Then, after 1, 2, 3 weeks, up to 1 month, new feathers will start coming out. You see? So up to 1 month and something, this old eagle who cannot fly far before is having now new materials. Amen. Brother Branham said, if he take the flight, is it flight I can say? From the top of the mountain there, and it passes you, if you don't know, you can fall down. Because now it is having new strength. That is why the Bible says, they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagle. This is the reason why they are comparing you to eagle. You are here now, you are not eating, you are weak, you are weak. Wait, the day you live here, new strength will come to you. I'm talking spiritually. Things that you were not able to do before, now you are going to do it. The way you were not able to pray for a long time before, now a power is going to enter you, and you are now going to feel a prayer. Amen. Because you have taken a time to wait upon the Lord. Amen. The most powerful force that God put into your hand is prayer. I will not give any testimony today again. Amen. But today is the second day we are here. Tomorrow will be the third day. But from today, God should start answering your prayer. I know He has started for some of us already. But as He said, the battle is not ours, but the battle is His. So we are expecting Him to do something. We are expecting to see our testimonies with our eyes so that people should testify with us. My father used to pack to take all the church, and they will go to the bush and they will stay there 7 days. Not 3 days. 7 days without food. See, before they will come back, people are already filled with the Holy Spirit. Before they will come back, things have started changing already. Because God can hear prayer. Amen. Are you happy that you are going to testify? I'm not just joking here. I am not saying it so that people should say amen. No. I'm telling you the truth. It's a commission I receive for you. I'm not part of it. God just sent me to tell you that you are going to be blessed. That you are going to be filled with His Spirit. Because He said yesterday, after blessing you, after restoring you back all that you have lost, that now He is going to pour His Spirit among all of you. People who have real dream, not fever dream. Yes. People who have visions, after blessing you, that He is going to add His Spirit to it. Amen. From now going, you are overcoming your enemy. Because these 3 days will not be just a punishment for you. No. No. You think that you are not doing anything. Who tells you? Who tell you? You are doing something. See, I will not give that test. I'm tired of giving testimonies. That sister there in Burkina Faso, when I say we are going to fast, they are just looking at me. But when I said we are going to fast for 7 days, only the second day and the devil left. The second day. But I say, because the devil is a liar, I want to make sure he has left really. And we continue up to the 3rd day. But I was sure that he is no more there. And from that day to today. But when we were fasting, we were just there. We were 3. The pastor, the sister, and I. We are tired because there is too much heat there. Oh, I said that I will never go back to Burkina Faso again. Because there is heat there. See, if you are in the car and you are getting hot, we used to open the glasses. Oh, right? But there, you are in the car and you are hot. Is it you are hot? You open the glass, the air that will come from outside is hotter than what you are feeling here. And you close the glass. If you are sleeping, where you sleep, you will be sweating the whole night. If you say you sleep on the ground is hotter than the bed. You have to say, fetch water and pour on the ground. In village, we fetch water and we put under the sun to get hot. But there, You get the water from the pipe and you leave it to be fresh, to be cold. The water is coming from the pipe and is, we say, evaporation. I have never seen such a thing before. So, and it was in this condition that we were fasting. See, I drank more than 10 liters of water a day. Because the heat was too much. We were tired, but we were there praying like we were not doing anything. What we have done, the testimony is there today. So don't think that the way you are sitting down, don't think that God is not working. He has started working already. It's true. It's the same way I was telling them. As for her, it's only 2 days. That spirit that was there 16 years and doctors have done everything. 2 days. Monday, fasting Monday, and Tuesday, the spirit said, no, I will leave. I said, no, don't leave. Keep on staying. Or stay. He said, no, I'm tired. Oh, why are you tired already? Today is the 2nd day, but we are going up to 7 days. And you are tired already. Stay. Because you promised me that you will stay there. Stay. He said, no. And I said, okay. Before you go, give me the name of the one who charmed the sister. And yes, he did it before he has left. The one who has been calling him, oh, Reine, comment tu vas? Et ta santé? Oh, je t'appelle juste pour savoir comment tu as dormi toute la nuit.
Oh, Queen, how do you do? How is your health? I just wanted to know how you passed the night.
But she is the one who is killing her. You see, that is why you need powerful God in you. That's why you need this God that can protect you, that can deliver you. Otherwise, if you are just in the message, saying I'm in the message, she is in the message like all of us here, but the charm her, the power, the charming power entered her body. And she was coming into the church every day with the spirit. It got to a time she cannot come to church anymore because she can't sit down. When they are in church, she will be at home. The spirit told her not to come to church again. And she was there. But when I went there, I say, you and I, we are going to church. Because David said, I am happy when they tell me, let's go to the house of the Lord. Amen. If I'm giving that testimony, it's to let you know that the first thing you will be doing, you will be tired. But you have to know that God is hearing your prayers. Anything that we are reading here, it's not my father that have written things here. No, it's God that has spoken here. All the years that the locusts, the worms and so on has eaten in your life, I will restore it to you. Now you eat plenty and you will be now happy and you will know that I am God and beside me there is none. See what God is saying. That is the same thing I have read there. And we are saying amen. Someone will be passing and will see, you people, you are mad. We are not mad. What we are saying like this, it has come, it became true. Amen. My word is spirit and life. The word of God. You will never forget this fasting because of the wonders the Lord is going to do in your life. He will not forget. If he is still alive, then he will answer your prayer. Yes. I give glory to God that someone doesn't faint. We have come here together this morning because of the Lord. And he's here. Can I say weakness? Do you say weakness? Faiblesse. Say weakness. Yeah. In that your weakness, God is going to strengthen you. What I'm saying is true. Maybe you think that I alone know what I'm saying. But that's why I'm giving you testimonies to see where we pass. And that is the same Bible we've taken. It's the same word of God we have read. But people were healed. I told you that man, when he was sacked from his office, for 6 months he was there in the house. Because they decided he will not go, he's not going to go back to his work again. Because it's the minister who assigned that it is finished for him. When we were praying there, I've read the same thing. I say, God is saying that he is going to restore to you what the worms have eaten. It's there. We were praying there when the phone rang that he should come back to work. One touch. From now going, you to your prayers, it will no more take time. Receive it in the name of the Lord. From now going, God is closer to you. I know I will hear your testimonies. I will hear. Because I know this God I'm worshiping. I know him. If people gathered like this in prayers and fasting, he answers prayer. I know from this going, you alone, you are going to organize fasting and prayers like this. From this going. Without food. You are there 3 days, 7 days. Do the one that you can do. But I'm telling you, it is powerful. Do you think that I'm not hungry here? I'm hungry. And I know you too, you are hungry. If they bring food here right now, the scent today will be special to you. Because your organism, do you say it like that? Yeah. It needs food where it is now. And you told him, no, you are not going to eat now. Because God is going to use me. God is going to pass through this to do something, some wonders in my life. If you are fasting, even food that you don't like, if they pass with the food, it will send, the scent will be special for you. You said, because, but let's move you on, or let's move on. Yeah. From now, if you are sick, or the devil catches you somewhere, don't fear anything. When they told me that I'm having HIV, I told you I didn't fear anything. I told the doctor that day that I'll come back another year. You will do the same test, it will be negative. And he laughed. He thought that I'm just encouraging myself. But today, I'm giving glory to the Lord. I didn't fold my hands and I came and sat down and I was, oh, God, do something. No. I said, if you believe, then do something. If you know you believe, then start doing something. See, if they say HIV, you never like even to give your hands to someone, no, to that person. Because you too, you are afraid. You don't want to die. But this demon, I told him, one day, I know now you are treating me the way you like. Coughing with blood, no limit diarrhea, and so on. But I'm telling him, it's today that you are enjoying. Tomorrow, you will not enjoy yourself anymore. In 2009, 2010, up to 2013. But today, here I am. Perfectly healed. See, even if it is cancer, our God can heal you. Even if they curse you, that you will never give birth, that you will never have a child, tell them you are lying. Now, the Lord who has created my womb, is it womb or womb? That Lord, He knows the reason why He created this is for a baby to lay down there. Forgive me for my English. Amen. Our God, there is none like Him. A woman called me and said, Pastor, please, is your Jesus different from our Jesus? And I said, why this question? He said, the very day you pray for me, my story changed up to now. But I am also going to church. We are also shouting to Jesus. Oh, Jesus. But your prayer is, oh, please, tell me the truth. Is your Jesus different from mine? This soldier, the one that I say, I pray and they call him automatically. He too, he asked me, Pastor, please, oh, your God, because when they sack him from the office, we call him because he's in our capital town and me, I'm far away somewhere. We called him to come so that we should help him in prayers. And he said no, that he has some pastors already who are helping him in prayers. And they were there getting to 1 year. How can someone leave a big city with big pastors, with big cars, with big things, and come to someone in a cottage, a village somewhere? That time, I don't know whether I had phone or what, I don't know. That day before we got there, we got there, even my trouser, the exhaust pipe has bent already my trouser. And they are showing that this is the pastor. See, the man looked at me and said, pastors that are having cars, big, because someone asked me last time, how can you be pastor and you don't have car? And I say, the car is on the way coming. A proper car. Hey. My God is not a halfway God. Oh. If he doesn't want to do it, then he will not do it. But if he says he will do it full. Yes. Amen. And I said, And the man said, he has pastors that are helping him already. Okay, and we kept quiet. 6 months has passed. The man was still there. Now the food that he will get to eat, he doesn't have any food. Because he didn't prepare himself for this situation. It just came and surprised him like that. And his brother came to me and said, oh, Pastor, please help me. What are we going to do? I said, we are calling him, but he doesn't want to come. Okay, now, let's go to him. When we got there, oh my, is this the pastor you are talking about? Oh. Amen. But when I started praying, and I said, now we are going to pray to do our last prayer, to give thanks to Jesus that he should be back to the office. It's now that the man know that, this boy is really a pastor. It's now that he can know that, he's really a servant of God. Do you see? When we were praying, it's like there is no God somewhere who is listening to our prayers. But we got our testimony there before we have left. That is what I want to see in your life. I want to have your testimony in my hand before going back to my place. Amen. A woman, she is Muslim. She came to me for prayers. And I say, how can you are Muslim. Why is it that you didn't go to your imam and so on, and you are coming to me? And he said, he had a dream. Because it's her own father who is killing her. She was sick. She went to hospital. They did all the tests and so on. They couldn't find anything. But the person is sick. The doctors were asking him, oh, is it that you are joking? And she said, can I be joking until throwing away my money? How can I tell lies that I'm sick? She spent all her money, but nothing happened. So she had a dream that she saw me. I came and I lay my hand on her and I was praying. Then she decided to come to me. When she came, I prayed for her. The sickness finished there automatically. There. See, and in the night, the spirits came back to ask me, why is it that I delivered this woman? And they said, they will kill me tonight before tomorrow. And I say, you don't know whom you are talking to. Can you kill me? I rather can kill you, but you cannot kill me. And it is his own father who came in spiritual realm to attack me. Because he was the one who killing his own daughter. Last time, the man has killed one of his sons. And a pastor caught him. They asked him, and he said, yes, he is the one who killed the boy. So, that woman was his target. But when I pray for her, that death changed to life. And I told this woman, I say, see, you are Muslim, and you dream and you see pastor to come and pray for you, that means Jesus loves you. And I say, do you know? I'm not saying that you should leave that to your church. But to prove you that Jesus loves you, I'll tell you something. I'll pray with you. From now going, anything that will happen to you, you yourself, you will lay your hand and you pray and it will come to pass. And I pray for her. Do you know? While I was praying there, I'll say it somehow. You see this place? He went to look for woods for fire. Because we are in village. We don't use gas or whatever it is. So he went to the bush to look for firewood. And then a piece of wood turned and entered this place for her. And it went inside. Deep, she cannot remove it. So, while I was praying, it was about 2 months that wood was in his body. And then, when he went back home, he remembered that I told her that anything that will happen to her, he should pray. This Muslim woman lay her hands at the place and he prayed according to what I've told her. He said, oh, Jesus, Pastor told me that you are alive, and I know that you are alive. Please, please, give respect, consider my prayer, please. This wood that is laying there in my body, please, I want to see it come out. Do you understand me? She prayed in the morning, 8 p.m., and she went to market. By 1 p.m., she realized that the place was, is it itching or I don't know how. Yeah, hair. So she just brought the fingers there to scratch the place, and she touched the wood. She looked like this. The wood itself came out like this, hanging. A Muslim. And what about you that you are here? What about you? She has never entered my church. But I told her, once you are Muslim and you dream that you didn't see Imam and you are coming to see Pastor, that means Jesus loves you. Then he will do wonders in your life and you know that really he loves you. And this woman, see, his testimony is bigger than even people sitting in my church. They don't have even one testimony. Do you know? God is looking for your sincerity. If you are sincere, your answer, your prayer will be answered. See this woman, I've never baptized her. She has never entered my church. But see her testimony. And she is the one who has been testifying everywhere that Jesus is alive. Before that, her son was having a problem here on the knee. Is it knee? So sometimes the leg will turn like, I don't know, it will turn like if there is no bone inside. And they brought the boy to me. I pray from that day that problem stopped. I know you too, you have testimonies. I'm adding it to yours to let you know that today Jesus is still alive. Amen. From today going, the Bible, bring the Bible closer to you. Read it every day. Because they told in Joshua chapter 1, let this book of law never depart from your mouth. Think of it, read it every day. And there you will prosper on your way. You have success on your ways. The word of the Lord, I'm telling you. You see, we are in Africa. They will, like the way affectation, comme on le dit en anglais. Comment on affecte les enseignants? Oui, they will take the teacher from this post to another post.
They are transferring the teachers.
They have been doing like that for government workers. The same thing here. In our place, like I don't want to leave this church. And the government said, no. Okay, let's say school. I'm the headmaster here. And they are taking me to another place. People, what are they going to do? The office chair, they will go and do juju in the chair. If he left, and they send you from somewhere to there, you just come and sit down. If you sit down in that chair, you are finished. It doesn't happen here. Mm-hmm. Listen, if you are government worker and someone is thinking that same thing to you, you have power from today. You are going to sit down there and he will be sick in his house. Back to sender. We have power. Back to sender. You will sit down there and he will receive it there. If it is sweet, then he is going to taste it. Don't just sit down in the message and say, we have the message. No. Try in the message. Let the power follow you. It will help you. It will save your life. Otherwise, you will die and people will say, oh, it's God who has called him. No. Maybe your time doesn't reach yet. But because you are powerless and powerful people are killing you. But the most powerful one on earth might be you. I know you understand me. Amen. Forget about hunger. You are receiving power from now. You are receiving it. You too, from now going, your testimonies, we can write now another book of Acts. Yes. Will I add another testimony? But I need yours too. Before I'll go back. I'll go with your testimonies. Yes. Or did I give you that testimony already? No. A man from Benin is in our place there in Togo. Or did I tell you? Okay. He went and looked for an idol, and that idol has been only sucking blood. I told you. You alone. So, every morning, this man has to take gallon and go to the butchers. Is it butchers? Yeah. And he will collect the blood. And he will enter his room and pour the blood on the idol. But we are in village. They don't kill cow every day. Or they don't slaughter. Is it like that? It's every day. And the day he couldn't find blood to the spirit, then automatically the spirit started sucking his own blood. If the next day he is not able to get the blood, the spirit will go to his wife and suck the wife's blood. If the third day he is not able to get the blood to the spirit, they have one son, one child. The spirit will go to the child and he will suck him. By that time, the blood is coming back to this place again. I don't know how to explain it. He is making rounds. He started from here, he will go here, and he will go here. The time he is sucking from here, the blood has come back to this place again. And he will start back again. So the man every day hospital because of the idol he has at home. Every day. Now it got to a point that he was tired. And then he went back to Benin to the person who was prepared the idol for him. He talked to him to come and remove the idol from his house, that he is tired. And the man asked him, do you want me to die? Because they said, you never even touch. Send your finger and touch the spirit, the idol, you will die. And the person told him, I can't come and pick those, I can't remove it from there. Go and see a pastor. So, Juju people self know that pastor must be powerful, more powerful than they. He told him, go and look for a pastor. Okay, and this man went to Ngoche, that is the name of the town, and he heard how a pastor was preaching on radio with Holy Ghost fire. And he went and see the pastor, and he narrated all the problem. Then the pastor asked for money for his transportation. My friend has given him the money. The pastor traveled like about 100 and something kilometers. And he came, they opened the door, he went inside, and they show him, that is the idol. The pastor went and he looked at the idol seriously, kindly, and he said, no, I have to go back and get myself prepared well. That he has not prepared himself before coming there. Oh, and this man, he said, oh, then I am going to sleep with this spirit in my room again today. Are you not the one who brought him? When the pastor left, he put my friend's number in blacklist. If my friend called, it will not go. The pastor will never call. That means he has saved his life. It's not because of you he is going to die and leave his children and his wife. And the idol stayed there and was sucking the blood every day. I was passing. when my friend saw me, because I've been giving him testimonies. He saw me and he said, brother, please, I have a spirit in my house, and every day we have to get a pocket, sachet of blood or pocket of blood, I don't know how to say, from hospital. He has been sucking our blood every day, the way he likes. So please, in these days, are you not going to look for a day to come and remove it from there for me? And I say, one day, let's go immediately. And he said, it's not a joke. Oh. That spirit I'm talking to you about, I told a pastor, he came and looked at it, he turned back. Then, I like you should go home and you will get prepared well before come back. And I said, I will go home and prepare hot. The power I'm having is with me here right now. Let's go. He stood there, he think. I said, okay. Because he doesn't want to see me dying. Because the spirit will kill me, he knows. When we went to the house, he told the wife that we are coming to pack. Is it pack? Or to remove the idol from there. And the wife said, what? The wife said, no, never. She will never allow. And I said, why? Do you like the spirit? She said, no. Are you not tired of it? She said, yes. And why don't you want I should remove it? He said, Pastor, do you know? You see this house? Just a house closer to their house like this. They went and looked for a pastor. He came and removed an idol there. And up to now, they are not able to stay in the house again. The spirit is coming there every day and is whipping them. And they run away from the house. And they are now looking for money and goats and so on to go and beg the idol to come back. See. Hey, please. If people will be in America, in France, and so on, and will not believe the power, we are in Africa, and we need a powerful God to be with us. If not so, we will die. They will kill us. And I told this woman, if you've never seen God's power manifest, working like this, you will see it today. She said no. And she told my brother, my friend, you know what you are doing. I don't want to have an accident in this household. I don't want problem. I don't want to. And the husband said, Fred, brother, let's go back. I said, I will never go back until I saw the face of the spirit and I take it off. Oh, the wife was there. I was here. The man was in the middle. The woman was talking. I was talking. The woman was saying, no, I don't want. I say, hey, man, you just go and show me where you put it. Show me, and you go out. You will see how I will treat him. He was afraid. And he said, Fred, he said, brother, please, let's go home. Another day we will come back. I say, then you will find a room for me here. I will start sleeping here. Because you provoke me. Yeah. I'm passing peacefully and you touch me, I have to react before I'll leave. He said, oh, what is this? My wife said no. This pastor also said no. I said, for me, there's no problem. Just find me a room. From now going, I'll stay with you here. He was there. I said, man, stand up. Let's go. Go. Come and show me the spirit, the idol. The wife said, no. I said, woman, bring a paper. We will do agreements. If I take this idol and it come back to harm you, go and report me everywhere you want. Immediately my friend got up and said, brother, let's go. And we entered inside. Yeah, it's like something like this. And we make rounds like this. And it was there. They covered it with white cloth. And my friend stood there and said, he's the one. Covered with white cloth. And I went there because I was angry already. I went there, the white cloth, and I have taken it because I want to see its face. And I put it aside. And I say, are you the one people fear? Oh, I thought you have legs that you can walk. I don't know that you are planted there. Okay. Hear me. If you know that you have power, then défends-toi. Comment je vais dire? Yeah, defend yourself. If you know, I heard that people fears you. Okay, if you really know that you have power, then right now, show your power. Otherwise, you will not sleep here anymore. My friend, he went back again. Because what I'm doing there is dangerous. I say, you, they are calling you idol, I'm calling you devil. I'm giving you only 30 seconds. If you can do something, then do it today. So that my friend should go and report to people that this is what you have done. But if I'm talking and you are still there doing nothing, I will clear you off. And I was there. I said, I'm waiting for you to respond. So my brother went back and was looking at me like this. I said, people fears you. If you know you have power. Because what I'm saying, you see there is a bag here. I will take you and put you in the bag and throw you in toilet. Because there is metal and so on, it can't bend. I say, I'm waiting for you. The Bible says, they have ears. They can't hear. They have eyes. And I say, that is what the Bible says. If you know that I'm lying, then do something to prove that I'm lying. I preach him the gospel first. Because he needs it. I just took a bag and I packed with my hands. I taken them all and I put in the bag. And I got a broom. I cleaned the place. I have taken the dust. Is it dust? Yeah. I pour it on his face. I've taken the bag. I put on my back. And I said, my friend, follow me. And my friend doesn't want to follow me because of what I'm carrying. See, From that day, problem of blood finished in that house. From that day. From today, from now going, the same power is yours. The same power. Whether you are lady, whether you are whatever you are or whoever you are here, the power is yours. Remember that I've told you. The power is yours from now going. Wonders are going to start in your life. You see, the way you see me like this, it was not like that for me before. I was as common as everybody. But when I started living the word of God, God started using me. Amen. I'm happy because you are going to testify. Now, it's now that people will know that you are Christian. It's from now. That now, your village or where you live, your area, they will know now that they have someone there. Amen. The Bible said it. You are the salt of the earth. But if you lose your taste, what are people going to use you for? You become useless. But get back your tastes, and people will need you. People are there now with their money, and they need help. And you too, you are here, you need money to do something. See, he has money, but he doesn't have help. You have help, you doesn't have money. We are going to put both of you together. Or don't you believe? We are going to put you together. Yes. You give him something, he will give you something. Yes. Do you believe it? The battle is not yours, but is the Lord's. You don't know the way I love the word of God. Because I've seen it several times delivering, or it has delivered people. Those who are looking for baby, the word of God has given baby to them. Those who are looking for work, God has given it to them. Yes, those who are looking for work. See, my father told me, the testimony another day, that he will never write a letter. We say it en français. J'ai l'honneur. Like you want to write an official letter. You know how you start it.
I have the honor.
I hereby you know how you write it. But you are respecting a man because you are looking for a job. Write the same letter to God and bring it here. Do you hear me? The way you write official letter, politely. Write the same letter. Tomorrow, if you are coming, bring it to God. Don't forget. The one who is looking for work, for job, If you don't know how to write proper application letter, tell someone to help you. Write the letter. I will give the address of the person. The address. Write that I'm writing to Jesus Christ. The place you put your the address of the put Jehovah Jireh there and bring it. And together we are going to take this letter and we are going to give it to God. That you are looking for work or for job. You will see. You will see. Pastor said it yesterday, because enough is enough. Now, God should remember someone. And that person is you. The one who is using his money for drugs, tablet, how do you call it? Yes. Using his money, he has been giving his money to doctors and so on. From now going, you are going now to support the ministry. And healing is your portion. You are using money, they will say buy this, because you are not conceiving, you are not having, buy this. No, from now going, your money will be now for the cause of the Lord. I believe it. If you believe, then do something. If you say amen, then say it in your heart that from now going, I will never use my money to buy products or drugs again. Say it, that you will never do it again. Yes. Then it is an agreement between you and God. The money that you are going to use for products, whether you have diabetes, whatever it is, do you think that my God cannot heal you? He can do it. All what the worms have eaten in your body, in your life, that He's going to restore it back to you. Amen. From now, when we are going to pray, you are going to promise God. Is it like that? You are going to tell God that from now going, because you believe that He is your healer, the one who is going to heal you, from now going, your money is for His cause. Oh, I'm not saying it well. From now going, because you have to sow something. I'm not asking you to give me money. But I want, because the way we are talking like this is the same thing I told that woman, that Muslim woman. And he too, she has now a testimony. From now going, your children in the house, today sickness, tomorrow sickness, tomorrow next sickness. No. We are going to put stop for it today. Today. You are tired. You are hungry. But you are happy. You have to be happy because the Lord is hearing your prayers. He's alive. Amen. He's alive. Oh. He's alive. Amen. He's alive. Oh, Jesus is alive. Oh, forever he's alive. Amen. He's alive. Amen. Oh, he's alive. Oh, Jesus is alive. Oh, forever he's alive. Oh, he's alive. Oh, he's alive. Oh, Jesus is alive. Oh, forever he's alive.
Jesus is alive. Forever he's alive. Amen. He's alive. Amen. He's alive. Oh, Jesus is alive.
Let's be all of it and let's sing together. Amen.
He's alive.
Amen. He's alive.
Oh,
Jesus is alive. Forever he's alive.
Jesus is alive. Forever he's alive. Amen. Oh, he's alive.
Oh,
Jesus is alive. Forever he's alive. Amen. He's alive. Amen. He's alive.
Oh,
Jesus is alive.
oh,
Forever he's alive.
First, let's put our hand together for the Lord first. Amen. Since yesterday, we've heard all that the Lord has told us here. No, we are going to pray. You are going to remember to the Lord. He said yesterday that he is going to restore. And today, he said, the battle is not yours. Tell him that, Lord, I'm waiting for this to be manifested in my life. Start telling him something. Forget that you are tired. Blessings are your portions. Testimony is yours. He said yesterday, all that you have lost, that he is going to bring it back to you. God answers sincere prayer. God answers serious prayer. Let's pray to the Lord. Tell him he's not a man to tell lies. Jesus. Lord, since yesterday, we are in your house. Lord Jesus, you promise that all that the worms have eaten, that you are going to restore it. And you said today, oh Lord Jesus, that the battle is not ours, but the battle is yours. Jesus, we are crying to you this morning. Lord, please remember me. Lord, remember me. Lord, remember me. You said, they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. Lord, you said, even if the promise tarry, it shall come to pass. Lord, please answer our prayer here. Answer our prayers 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 here. Send your spirit. Send your power. Send your fire. Send your fire. Send your power. Send the healing power. Send the healing power. Send the healing power. Send the healing power. Jesus. Remember someone. Hear the prayers of someone. If yesterday you was God, you were God, then this morning you are still God. Someone is shouting to you this morning. Someone is shouting here this morning. Hear our prayers. Hear our humble cry. Lord, please. In the mighty name of Jesus, we pray. We are going to pray again, asking the Lord to send His power here, to send His fire here. Any evil spirit that will still keeping someone in bondage, any evil spirit that was still having his hand on someone, any rope that they are using to tie you, to tie your head, to tie something. In the house of God there is power. He said anything that you bind here on earth will be bound in the heaven. And anything that you lose here will be loose there. We are going to pray. Pray, ask for the fire to burn. This thing that is blocking your open door or something. I don't know how to say it. Your progress. You have the power to call for the fire to burn that thing right now. That spirit that is doing that, you are not having your baby. Set fire on him right now. Set fire on your poverty. Set fire on your sickness. Set fire on your problem. Set fire on what you are passing through. The fire is waiting for you to call. Call for the fire. Jesus. The pillar of fire. Lord, right now, please. Send your power here. Send your power here. The fire. The fire right now. The fire right now. The fire right now. The fire right now. To burn every evil spirit. To burn every evil spirit. The fire. The fire. The fire. The fire. Jesus. The fire. The fire. The fire. The fire here, Lord. The fire here, Lord. The fire. Jesus. Let them be burned. In the mighty name of Jesus, let the fire come down right now. To burn all those spirits that are holding someone in bondage. Today, the fire should fall down. Let your mighty fire come down now. Oh Lord, come down now. Let your mighty power come down now. Oh Lord, come. Let your Jesus. Lord, send your power to set someone free here today. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Lord Jesus. 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 Come and do it. Lord, send your power here today. 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 Lord, send your power here today. Send your power here today. Send your power here today. To set someone free. 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 Oh, you are God. And everything is possible to you. Come and do it. 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 Spirit.
over me. Spirit, move over me. Spirit, move over me.
We are
Spirit, move over me.
Amen. Amen. We are going to pray, but for this time for our children. Those who small time they will be sick. Please, may be seated. All the small children, all the children that small time he will be sick. Small time he will be sick. Bring them all here. We are going to pray and cancel that spirit of sickness. Holy Spirit, I don't know it.
Move me now. Make my life whole again. Spirit, move over me. Spirit, move over me. Holy Spirit, Holy Spirit, move me now. Move me now.
I am going to pray. Lord Jesus Christ, you are the same yesterday, today, and forever.
Amen.
Lord Jesus, those children didn't come to me, but they came or they come to you. Right now that I'm going to lay my hand on them, it will not be my hands, but it will be your holy hands. And I declare from today going, I cancel sickness in their life. This spirit of sickness in the mind